You had a nice pizza.
I did have a nice pizza.
Luigi's Pizza. You told me about.
Yeah. Luigi, Pizzeria Luigi. Pizzeria Luigi.
I didn't know this existed. It's funny. You brought it up randomly. You're like, oh, Pat, I had this pizza. I'm like, I almost ordered from there 2 days ago with Frank.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. I had been meaning to tell you. So Pizzeria Luigi.
Don't hold that on pizza info from me.
It's a pizzeria that started in over by Luna Video Games in El Cajon. There's one in North Park. I think one somewhere else too. And someone brought it in for me once, and it's just one of the better pizzas in San Diego. The only pizza I've ever had there, and I've had their pizza a number of times, is the Crime Scene. So I don't know if they make good normal pizza, but they're big on specialty pizzas. And the Crime Scene is no sauce, cheese, ricotta cheese lumps,
no sauce at all.
And then sauce on top.
Sauce on top. They go reverse.
Sauce on top. So it's reversed.
So not a traditional, Italian.
No. But it's super good. I had it. I used to get it at work every once in a while. I had one a couple nights ago, and I ordered it when Vonnie was like doing some stuff out of town. Because she doesn't love pizza. She loves like buffalo pizza. She loves good pizza, but she's real picky about San Diego pizza. So I order pizza when she's not around. And there were some leftovers, and she had it, and she was like, that was really good, so we got it again. So I had the Crime Scene 2 nights in a row this past weekend. But I have to say, ricotta cheese on a pizza is just, it's a special thing.
All right, well, be careful when you say I had the Crime Scene 2 nights in a row. That can be something else. It's good, though. I'll try it.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful.
Because when you look up, like, DoorDash pizza, I saw it come up like that's one of the top choices. I'm like, why is this here? I don't know what this is. It has to be somewhere else. Maybe it's like, in PB or something. Or then it said Ocean Beach, and I was like, what the hell? And yeah, I was surprised to see it. They must have opened in the past few months. Yeah, because I had no idea. It opened in there was a place there, a Mexican place that I told Frank he was bummed. He said, yeah, it's in that Mexican place was there before I even moved here, I think. And I was like, all right. I was there for like 45 years.
It's weird seeing stuff change on Newport just because...
A lot has, even in the past 10 years.
Yeah, it's so different than when I moved here. I moved here 16 years ago. And with Margaritas going, like, that's just another one of those big, iconic stores on Newport that's gone. We lost our antique mall, which was big. That was a huge
That's where the Target Express is?
That's where the Target is.
Okay.
Margaritas is gone. Most of the big antique stores that were on
There was
Newport,
there was another antique store next to it, wasn't there? Two of them?
When I moved here in 2005, Newport was largely antique stores.
Yeah,
just antique stores up and down. I mean that's what people did. They came to Ocean Beach to go to the beach and to shop antiques. Like they had tours set up around it.
Well, it's a much younger, I think, sort of population here now, and it's transformed.
Yeah, there was a brief period of time where Ocean Beach was fairly cheap to live in. So I think a lot of the younger people moved in, and then as they started to get money and open their businesses, it just...
Yeah, that's what happens everywhere. That's what happened to South Park.
Yeah.
South Park used to be really cheap. It was like not the place you want to live. So young people go there, they build it up. Now it's expensive. That happens everywhere. Intermittent fasting. So yeah, I hung out with Frank. We just had Cornish game hens. We were still hungry.
It's just a little Cornish game hen eating, like it's an everyday thing.
A little Cornish game. Yeah, Pat, you want to come over? I can defrost some Cornish game hens. I don't know why you had them.
I was gonna say, where people just have Cornish game hens in their freezer?
But he like did like a lemon rub thing with sage, and it was really good.
I'm sure it was delicious.
But like, there's not much meat on those things. There's like a half pound of meat on those. Once you like get down to it, there's not a lot on them. So it's like we were still hungry afterwards, so we got the pizza there.
I've been reading a lot about pigeons lately.
To cook?
Well, no, but I mean that came up. That came up in the book about pigeons and how squab. If you ever see squab on a menu, that's just pigeon.
Where would that be on a menu?
Every once in a while, you'll see fancy places that sell squab.
Really?
Yeah.
Where are you eating, Ian? So the place in Balboa, that fancy restaurant in Balboa.
I'm just saying, you will see it on menus. I mean, I've seen it on menus before at higher end restaurants. But they call it squab because obviously people aren't going to think.
Oh, sky rat. Okay, I want that.
Pigeon, or dove.
I don't want to eat a dove. They seem so innocent.
Well, doves and pigeons are exactly the same thing. There's zero difference.
Come on, really?
Zero difference.
Come on, dove versus pigeon.
They are the exact same. I am reading a book by a bird scholar currently. There is no difference between pigeons and doves other than the color of their coat. We just happen to call white pigeons doves.
There's mentalfloss.com. There's no difference between pigeons and doves for nomenclature, scientific nomenclature, but we classify them by their size. Huh.
Size, and generally we think of doves as like the pure white ones that you let loose at like a wedding or something like that. But yeah, they're just pigeons.
So they're the same species?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Exact same. What it comes down to is it's like dogs where like there's different breeds. Like there's lots of different breeds of pigeons, but they're all just pigeons. Yeah. They're just pigeons.
You're right, because most dogs are the same species.
Yeah. They're just
different
bred
breeds.
differently.
Yeah, it's so funny when think about that. Mm-hmm. All the house cats are one species.
Well, it makes sense too because pigeons started as house pets. That's why we have a pigeon. You don't. I think
I don't know the history of pigeons.
No,
you read a book. Don't judge me. You're reading a book about pigeons. I don't know that.
That seems to be something that
That's
people
not common
know.
knowledge.
That seems to be something people know.
That is not common knowledge that pigeons started as pets. Come on, Ian.
Mentioned that I was reading about pigeons on Twitter, and like 3 people came at me with like, "Oh yeah, they started as pets."
You weirdo pigeon people know that. Most people will. I'll put up a poll. Did you know pigeons started
People
as pets?
farmed pigeons for food, for pets, for message delivery, and for racing. And
racing?
Yeah, pigeon racing. Because you can take a pigeon anywhere. You know how humming pigeons work? No, the flying. You take a pigeon anywhere and let it go, and it will return to its home. So if you take a pigeon halfway across the country and throw it up in the air, that pigeon's going to try to find its way home. So pigeon racing is they take all these pigeons from one spot.
They go to a location.
They go far away, and you got to see which pigeon makes it home.
What
first.
If one doesn't make it home? What if one's just lost? Like, I don't know where I'm going.
Then you lose that pigeon.
Oh, that's sad.
It is sad.
Let me tell you how weird it is to. I hope it didn't happen in the same pigeon farm, where you're raising for both food and for pets. That's just wrong.
So
that's just wrong.
The thing is you get to the
one.
point where chickens come along and chickens have more food on them. They're easier to raise.
Cornish game hens.
Telephones and telegrams take over the fact that we don't need messenger pigeons anymore.
Sure, that died out the past 100 years. I'm sure.
And what happens? Yeah, pigeons weren't native to the U.S. They came over from Europe, and when people stopped caring about their pigeons, the pigeons went out and got feral. And it's basically said now that they're not certain that there's any non-feral pigeons left in the world. Like if you go find like wild pigeons like on like the coast in Ireland or whatever, they say that there is a high likelihood that those wild pigeons you find have feral pigeons as their ancestors.
Gotcha.
So wild pigeons, for all intents and purposes, don't really exist anymore. Everything that's walking around is basically descended from someone's abandoned pet.
So they were wild. They captured so many of them. They've interbred so much that they're all.
They captured so many of them, raised so many of them, and so many got out there and escaped that the feral population has become the actual population.
How did they look when they were feral? Did they look like?
No, feral is what they are now. Feral is escaped pet, basically.
Oh, I thought feral meant wild. I gotta look that up.
I'm using the terminology she uses in the book, but feral is like they basically all just escaped and became.
Feral is an animal in a wild state, especially after escape from captivity.
Yes, there you go.
So so they escaped from captivity. It was wild at some point, but you're saying they've done it so many of them. There's not a pure wild pigeon left.
Right. There's pigeons born in the wild, obviously, all over the place,
yes.
but their parents, their heritage, all comes from feral pigeons at this point.
Now I'm looking up wild pigeon. Rock dove.
Yep, that's their official name.
Okay, that's one that has the colored neck, with the purple and greenish neck. Yeah, it's great. It's really interesting how when you actually look at how many animals were not native to the Western Hemisphere that came over.
Oh yeah, tons of them.
Rats, horses.
Yep.
I mean, like there's probably more.
Cows, sheep. I'm fairly certain those all came over.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There wasn't wild. We had bison. We did have bison.
We did
before they're almost wiped out entirely.
Yeah,
well, they were wiped out in the wild, but now
they're
now back there. But yeah, that was ridiculous. But yeah, you're right. There was no wild cows. The bisons would have fucking destroyed them all.
Should probably plug the book that I've been reading. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's really good. It's a pocket guide to pigeon watching by Rosemary Moscow. You can get it through Workman Publishing. It's a short, small, handsome little book. I rather enjoy it.
Okay. Embracing 9 of the non-native and invasive species that we love to hunt and fish. The ring-necked pheasant.
Huh?
Trout. Trout was not native to North. Trout? What? They brought over trout?
That actually surprises me.
Largemouth bass? How did they bring them over? Where did they put them in aquariums and get them over
just
here?
Fucking
How did
loaded
that
up
happen?
barrels of bass and then dumped them and stocked them in
No.
ponds and rivers. I have no idea.
Considering different evolution, what's the price of fishermen? They transplanted European brown trout to our lakes and streams. Okay, they must have brought over eggs and they. Wow.
Yeah.
So trout and bass are like major North American fishies. That's amazing. That what the hell was there before that? No fish or less fish?
Yeah, I mean, if you tried to think of like a truly American symbol, like
Yes.
an eagle holding a bass over the American flag would probably
Those
be
are
it.
like the main like wildlife fish we have, are bass and trout. You're telling me they weren't here? We had barren little mini fishes running around.
Pigeons go
Okay.
hand in hand with New York, and they weren't here to begin with.
The red fox, that makes sense. That was brought over
For hunting and
That
sport.
makes sense. And now they're wild.
Yeah.
I think my parents have them in their backyards. The northern pike, another fish, another pretty big fish. The coyote. Okay. The coyote wasn't here. They came from wolves. We know that originally. They split.
I feel like the coyote had to have been in the Southwest.
No, it was just wolves.
Oh.
We had wolves in North America.
So where'd the coyote come
Well, they
from?
weren't native. They said they were like, it's a subspecies that,
Gotcha.
were bred with dogs. And I think,
I see what you're saying. They weren't
Yeah.
here to begin
They
with.
weren't
They
native.
came from.
yeah, we just had wolves.
Gotcha.
We had wolves, and now we have wolves again. They're almost wiped out entirely. There are wolves out there again, thankfully. The Sika deer was native to Japan and other parts of Asia, and they were brought over coastal Maryland and other places. I never heard of that. There are more than 10,000 Sika deer in eastern Maryland. Okay, they have a weird subspecies of deer just in Maryland.
That's
Crazy.
crazy.
That's crazy. Feral hogs. We didn't have hogs here. Oh, we didn't have anything.
We
We
did
didn't have hogs.
This is empty.
We didn't have pork products here. We had to bring them over.
I think I did read that pigs came from somewhere else.
Oh,
yeah.
from Europe. We didn't have pigs.
Yeah.
We didn't have hogs. We didn't have pigs.
Right.
Right? Hybrid populations exist today throughout the wild pigs ridge. Okay. So that we didn't have that. Man, we were boring as hell. The white-tailed deer was not native. There's billions of deer in the U.S. There's millions of them. They came over. That's unbelievable.
It is.
They were native to parts of South America. They were introduced into they were all over the world now. Wow. Okay. So I did not know they were not North American. Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
basically all of our animals. They didn't even put horses on the list. And that's what I know for sure that we didn't have. So like what the hell?
Yep.
What a boring ass. We have bears and little lynxes and mountain lions. What else did we have?
Buffalo, bison.
We had no one of the, I used to love seeing those paintings of like all the North American animals that were dead 10, 25,000.
I love going to the zoo and being like, look at all these things that were really big and could have killed you.
We used to have gigantic fucking saber-toothed tigers and lions and giant ground sloths here. I love to have a giant ground sloth hanging out in my backyard. Be friends with them, feed them stuff. I don't care.
It just sits there all day.
They're just having fun. What a boring continent. At least North America. Just boring. Thanks, settlers, for bringing over pork products.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anything else you do this weekend? Anything else that was fun?
No, I think that's kind of, Everyone got a little educational lesson here today.
A little wildlife
on the pre-podcast moment that they'll listen to post-podcast.
Screw retro games. Let's just go into animal wildlife talk. It's a lot more interesting.
It is.
Here. Well, it's better than talking about Colonial Williamsburg or fucking Jockey Hollow shit that I grew up with. I never went to the zoo that much because there was what do you have? The Turtleback Zoo. That was like, where was that in Jersey? North Jersey somewhere. And then the Bronx Zoo. I went to once as a kid. I was so young I don't remember. I was like 3.5.
Oh, bummer.
But that's a really good zoo, Bronx Zoo. I mean, there's not a lot of zoos around there, but there is like a couple smaller ones in New Jersey. But they're like glorified petting zoos at that point.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like, we got goats and a cow and maybe, a couple of big cats that are rescues. That's what they have. They're not really zoos. We got to do Jungle Bells. We got to go to Jungle Bells. You got.
We do. It started just a couple days ago.
You got to take the wife there. It's
Vonnie
fantastic.
went yesterday with her friend Karen. I still can't really get out. Like I can't. My back is getting a little bit better, but like I can walk down the block now before I have to sit down, as opposed to across the living room. So I couldn't go to the zoo.
Is the Kyra gun not working? Oh.
I mean, it's fine, but this is like, I need surgery at some point.
You think so?
Oh yeah, no, they told me I definitely did for up here, and I'm sure it's probably going to be similar down there.
So next year maybe.
We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully.
When's the last time you had surgery?
Never had surgery.
You never had surgery.
Never had surgery.
You got away with it. Wow. No broken bones you need surgery for?
No.
I've had surgery like 5 times.
Yeah. No. Nothing.
Well, there you go, Ian. Can't get away with it forever. I said that when I was in college. I was like, I've had surgery since I was, like 3 years old when I broke my arm and I tore my ACL. It was like almost like prophetic. So, I'm not going to need surgery. No. It happens to all of us. It sucks, but it happens to all of us. Oh, what's the rehab for that, you think? Or recovery time? A few months?
Yeah, I think it's a couple months.
That's not bad.
No.
That's not bad. You can still walk around. You just can't do it with your neck, right? You might wear one of those neck things.
Yeah. Dungeons and Dragons dad just had back surgery, and he was actually, I think it was only a month for him.
We have to wear one of those collar things?
Don't know.
Look like a monster?
Look like a PlayStation 5.
So we won't be able to turn to be the podcast. Hey, Pat, turning your shoulders. Oh, it's funny. You'll be fine, Ian. You'll be fine. All right, is that it?
That's it for the intro.
Pigeons, and we didn't have trout or bass. That's shocking to me.
It's crazy.
What did they eat when you went fishing? What did the natives fish for? Like what was there? You tell me they weren't fishing? Get little prawns? Like what? Oh, God, it's depressing.
Pocket Guide to Pigeon Watching. Rosemary Moscow. Go buy it.